Hey guys, so today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of the dads, the adoptive dads, the foster dads, the soon-to-be dads, the father figures. Happy Father's Day to all of you. We're so thankful for each of you, and I know that today can also be a hard day for some people, which is kind of what led to this vlog for today. Today can kind of be a little bit of a tough day for Ben. It's the first Father's Day without his father. He lost his dad to cancer a couple months ago, and it's also a Father's Day that we're celebrating going through this adoptive process and not really knowing, with China being closed, when we're going to actually be able to bring our little girl home. We've also faced a lot of challenges over the past 2 weeks in our adoption process. We have some vlogs coming out soon where we're going to share some of those challenges. So what I want to do today with Penny Lane, we just want to make Ben feel so celebrated and loved, and we want to thank him for all the work he's done in the adoption process so far, and just celebrate what a good dad he is going to be when we do bring our little girl home. As we've been going through this process, something that I just love thinking about is how sweet of a girl dad he is going to be. I just can't wait to see him with our little girl. So Penny Lane and I, we have a few just little surprises planned today, just so that we can make him feel celebrated and loved. He's at work right now, so we're going to get those things set up, and we'll kind of let you guys follow along with us. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I got some garland and some ribbon, and I'm just going to put, I don't want to like go over the top, but I'm just going to put a few decorations in our dining room area, so that way when he walks in he can kind of see that it's fun and festive. Now that we've got decorations up, I've got some cards and some little gifts that we want to get together. I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed with the selection of soon-to-be dad cards. All of them have something to do with bringing home a baby that I could find at the store, which I recognize that most people that are soon-to-be dads probably are bringing home babies, but you would just think like Hallmark makes cards for everything. Why don't they have cards for adoptive dads and foster dads that aren't necessarily bringing home babies? And then I was not planning on getting a Father's Day card from the pet card, but I found the most perfect card from Penny Lane. Funny story about us, I've actually had Penny Lane since I got her right before Ben and I started dating. And before Ben and I were married, I lived by myself, so Penny Lane would sleep in the bed with me every night. And when Ben and I got married, he would constantly tell me beforehand, when we get married, Penny Lane is not sleeping in the bed with us. She's not sleeping in the bed with us. So it rolls around to the first night in our apartment after we got married, and Penny Lane was not in the bed, but you could hear her. She kept walking in circles around the bed. She was like pawing at the side. And so eventually that night, she worked her way into the bed, and she has pretty much stayed there ever since. And so Ben always jokes that he lost that battle to Penny Lane on day 1. So I think he's gonna think this card is really funny. So I've got a few just small gifts that I want to wrap for him. And one assumption that people have, that people say to us a lot is, oh, because you have such a long wait, you have so much time to plan and prepare for your child. And on the surface, it may seem like that, but in reality, you really don't get a lot of time to plan or prepare at all. It's really hard to know what to buy for your child because with adoption, you're not coming home with, more than likely, you're not coming home with a baby, especially if it's an international adoption. Usually what you do is you give the country that you're adopting from a range of ages. And so we've given them a range of ages, and more than likely we will not get a child younger than 2 years old. And they could even be older than 2 years old. So we could get a toddler, we could get, you know, a child that's in school or about to start school. So you really can't buy clothes and toys or even like a bed for them because we don't know if she'll need a crib or an actual bed. So there's very few things that you can actually buy. But the one thing we've been buying a ton of, and I think a little bit of this has to do with the fact that I'm an educator, is we have been getting lots of books for her. And so I got Ben a bunch of like father-daughter books that he can read with her when she comes home. And because I'm an educator, I bought books that are all different levels. So they're all different reading levels. Some are board books, some are paperback books. So that way he'll have sweet books to read with her at different ages. So I've got decorations, cards, and gifts together, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make brunch for when he gets home, but I want to wait until it is closer to him actually getting home to make that brunch so that way everything is hot. So Penny Lane and I, we're actually going to sit down and watch church on our TV while we wait to be able to make brunch. But before we sit down and do that, we have a couple minutes before the service starts. I thought I would just address another assumption that a lot of people have about adoptive families, especially on days like Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's definitely something that people kind of infer or that you do hear a lot. And that is days like today or any time when you're feeling sad about the adoption process, the sadness is coming from not being able to have biological children or being jealous of other families with kids. And I can speak for us and actually most adoptive families in saying that most people I know, these are not emotions that they're feeling. You feel a lot of emotions when you're going through the adoption process, but those aren't really it. Days like today are hard for adoptive families for a couple of reasons. One, you have no idea when you're bringing a child home. Under normal circumstances, you're given a very loose timeline, and it's going to be several years. It's not something that happens quickly. And in our case, and in the case of every other family, the hundreds of other families that are adopting from China right now, you have no timeline at all. So every time a holiday rolls around, you know, you just don't know, will it be next year that we have a child with us? Will it be 2 or 3 years? And so not having any type of timeline, it is really hard, especially when you're going through such a challenging process. The other side of it, at least for us, that can be really hard, and especially on days like today, is that when you look around at other children, when they cry, someone goes to them. When they're sick, someone takes them to the doctor. When they're hungry, someone feeds them. When they fall and scrape their knee, someone comforts them and bandages their knee. And these all sound like really simple, obvious things, but these are things that children in orphanages are not getting. And so it is really hard sometimes, especially on a day when we're celebrating mothers or fathers and all that they do for their kids, to know that your child's basic needs aren't being met, but there's literally nothing that you can do about it. And you know, it's hard to think about that any day, but it's especially hard on days like today. And part of being an adoptive parent is accepting that your child had a life before you, and a lot of the things that happened to them probably weren't positive, but it is hard on days like today. So if you know an adoptive family that is going through the process right now and you're kind of wondering, well, what can you do for them? Really the best thing you can do, treat them the same way that you would a family that's pregnant right now and waiting for a child in that way. Just celebrate them, encourage them, and just really let them know that you're praying for them, because really just knowing that people are supporting you and encouraging you, that's the best thing right now. So just kind of wanted to address that, but we're gonna go ahead and watch church, and I'll show you guys a little bit of it, but the person leading worship you just might recognize. He's on his way home, so I'm gonna go ahead and start making brunch. Ben's more of a savory breakfast brunch person, so I'm gonna be making eggs and potatoes and sausage for him. All right, I just heard the garage door go up, which means he's home, so it's time to surprise him. Penny Lane, who is it? Is your daddy home? Is it him? Hello? Penny Lane and I have a surprise for you.
What?
Happy Father's Day! Do you see?
For Penny Lane? Oh.
What, you thought?
Father of Penny Lane?
You thought Penny Lane was just gonna shake her tail at you?
Penny Lane. She usually doesn't look at me when I pick her up.
It's Father's Day.
So
She's thankful for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is nice and unexpected.
Yeah. Because you are the best poodle dad and you are soon gonna be the best dad to a little girl, and so we are celebrating you today.
Okay. All right. I feel celebrated.
Are you ready to open your gifts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to open? Penny Lane's really
I
excited.
don't know, which one should I guess I can do this. Go right to left. I'm guessing this one's from you. Oh, that's very nice.
Every soon-to-be dad card had baby in it. So
You had to swap that out
yeah.
for a little girl.
That was like the least baby one that I could find.
That's very sweet.
Penny Lane is very excited
Alright,
about
so
this
this one's from Penny Lane.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much for not just adjusting your. Oh gosh. Always get a good night's rest. Yep.
I told the story about how you always said Penny Lane would not sleep in the bed, and then you lost on day one.
I lost that battle quick.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect.
And she still does it. She'll be in my spot, because I come in after you guys get in bed, come in a little bit later, and she will be in my spot, and it'll smell like dog. I'll smell dog smell the rest of the night.
Just like 2 nights ago, she was like pawing you to move, wasn't she?
She was like popping me the whole night long. Like, good night, it's 1 o'clock. Can't you get some sleep? So yeah, I lost that battle. Okay, let's see what this is. What is it, Penny Lane? Oh, I love my daddy.
This one, I love it. It's
My
so
dad
cute.
is amazing.
Yeah, it's so cute.
My dad is cooler than a million popsicles.
And then this
I
was
feel like I've seen this one before.
this like series of books was one of my favorite series when I was a kid. So I got you this one, and then I got my mom and dad like just grandma and grandpa and me or something like that.
Yeah, well, we will be reading all of these. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel very appreciated.
Well,
You know, I'm not
you're
a dad
already
yet.
such a good poodle dad, and if you're that good of a dad to a little 7-pound poodle, I can only imagine.
I don't really think I had much of a choice with the 7-pound poodle.
Well, we love you and we're thankful for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so were you surprised?
I was very surprised. I was not expecting that today.
Well, I hope you
It was
feel
a good
special.
I feel appreciated, I feel special, and I feel excited about that day when we get to bring home our little girl. So yeah, it's just fun to kind of to dream and to think about the future, yeah, it's gonna be a good day when that day finally comes.
It'll be so sweet.
Yeah.
Yep, but we are just gonna relax, enjoy the rest of this Sunday, and we hope that all of you are having a good Father's Day wherever you're at as well.
Happy Father's Day.